last call. I'm going to start closing them off.
You heard you, folks. Last call for silent auction items. Last call for silent auction items. Get your bids in now.
I did snag one more thing.
Oh, yeah. A couple of those. Oh. You know what actually Lego actually like made a Lego brick out of a meteorite? Yep.
Why am I so hurt?
I know there's something about the flashes that I can't do.
Okay. Two things
unidentified words is probably the two scariest words in the English language. Only next to President Donald Trump. Those are three words. Yeah. that. I love that shirt. It's a fantastic yeah. Yeah, so what I've done is I've just put it on in there with some floor polish and just touched it up.
All right, Transformers fans, keep that applause coming. I would like to welcome to stage Stan Bush. All right.
How you guys doing? Nice to be in Toronto. It's great. Everybody's been really nice. So,
Excellent. So Stan, this is a Q&A session.
Okay.
So basically the content is going to depend on what the guests are going to ask you. But we like to get you started off kind of the same way we do with all of our guests. We'd love to hear your story about how you got started as a musician, and then what brought you to work on the Transformers '86 movie.
yeah, I grew up in Florida and played in bands all through school and things. And then when I got out of high school, I started playing on the road with bands and nightclubs and all that. So then later, I got asked to join a recording group in Colorado, and so I moved out there, and then spent a couple of years with a band there recording. And that band got signed, and we moved to LA. And then I've been there ever since in LA, California. So making albums. And the first that band broke up, and then I went solo and did an album for Columbia Records. And then after that, I did the second album was Stan Bush and Barrage, and that one had The Touch. And then of course The Touch and Dare. Well, first of all, the record company, we had written The Touch originally with Cobra, the Stallone movie in mind, and then the record company instead got it in the Transformers movie, and that's when everything started. So, anyway, but I've been making recordings, albums ever since, and I have working on number 15 right now. So.
All right, fans, well, I invite you to come up to the mic and ask Stan any question that might be on your mind. Please keep in mind one question at a time. And photography is allowed, just we ask no flash photography. All right, you're up.
So you mentioned initially you were writing The Touch for that Stallone movie, like you had that in mind. What's that process like? Do you hear that a movie needs this song? Do you have access to the script? Like, tell me more about that. What does that mean, you had it in mind for that movie?
Well, let's see. The title actually came about, you remember a movie with Louis Gossett Jr.? It was like a Top Gun kind of thing.
Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle, yeah. Anyway, he turns to this young fighter pilot and says, "Kid, you got the touch." And it was like, wow. It's like, bell goes off, And so myself and Lenny Russo, we wrote The Touch from that idea.
Take it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Where can I buy your albums that is not on Spotify? Because I prefer to rather, like you get a chunk of the change as opposed to Spotify hogging it all. So if you have like a Bandcamp, or if you have someplace where I can buy and download the music, that would be awesome.
Yeah, on my website, stanbush.com, you can order any of the albums. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Hi.
Hello. Listened to the songs so many times, can't even count. My question, Till All Are One, the song that you did for the video game series Fallen War for Cybertron. Was that you being approached to kind of make that, knowing kind of your sort of fame with Transformers music in the past, or was that something that you reached out? Basically just wondering how that song came to be, because it slaps.
Oh, thank you. It actually just I just pushed, wrote it on an inspiration on the whim. It wasn't like we weren't contacted by the movie people or anything like that. So I wrote it and recorded it and we submitted it, and it did end up in the, like you said, the War for Cybertron game,
Oh, yeah.
video game. So
Thanks.
yeah, but thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Hey Stan, thanks for coming. Thank you. So, quick question about Bloodsport. So a couple of years after Transformers the movie came out, and we had the iconic, we got the touch in there. The third song I think is probably maybe my very favorite is "The Fight to Survive." It's such a brilliant song for that movie, for the classic Jean-Claude Van Damme movie Bloodsport. What was it like working on the music for that film?
Actually, for Bloodsport and Kickboxer, both of those movies, I was approached as a hired singer to sing those tracks, and Paul Herzog did the music for those movies, those two movies, the score. And as it happens, this video you just saw was from No Surrender. There's a new movie called The Last Kumite, and that's the title song for The Last Kumite. And anyway, Paul Herzog did that music as well, and I wrote and sang 2 songs in that. Anyway, but yeah, to your question, the Bloodsport, I was hired by Paul to come out and sing those tracks, Fight to Survive, On My Own, and I think, what is it, Streets of Siam. Yeah, anyway, long time ago.
Wonderful. There's wonderful memories, and you have an excellent iconic voice. Thank you so much, Dan.
Got it, thank you.
Okay, so my question is, so The Touch is such an iconic song that it appears in other films and television shows all the time. But one thing I've noticed is after a while, around 2007, 8, 9-ish, like late 2000s, you remixed The Touch. You did like a new version of it, and now that version is the one that gets used in all other shows and movies when they want to use the song. Is there a reason why they go default to the remix version and not the original, or is that above your pay grade?
Okay, the original was recorded, that recording was owned by Sony, and that's the one that's on the film, the original movie, and the Barrage album. I re-recorded this song in 2007, pretty close to the same version, but it's just a different recording. So we were able to license it for shows like the Goldbergs show and
Regular show?
Yeah, a bunch of shows on TV and a few video games and all that stuff without having to go through and license the original.
That actually makes sense, though I had heard that some of the more recent Transformers shows, like Cyberverse and Earthspark, wanted to use The Touch and just were not allowed to use it for whatever reason. Which
yeah, it's mainly about money. I mean, if you're a major film, then they can definitely afford to use whatever version they want, But the original one is in like. I don't know if you saw Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, I noticed it was the
That was
remix
the
version.
original, yeah.
It was still cool when you heard that. I don't think anyone was expecting that at all.
Yeah, that was a very cool use. I like that movie too.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you.
Hi, Stan.
Hi.
First of all, thank you so much for coming. It's an honor to meet you. It's really exciting.
Pleasure.
I want to say for the record, you're really talented, and so many of your songs I just love. But there's a rumor going on with Touch, by the way. That song just gives you chill with the Optimus Prime scene, and then there as well. I think you really are MVP of Transformers movie, hands down.
Woo! Thank you.
My question to you is that there's a rumor going on the internet that you wrote The Touch not for Transformers the movie, but for a Stallone movie.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I said a few minutes ago that we wrote it originally for Cobra, the Stallone movie.
Okay, I missed that.
And it was just the inspiration was to try and get it in that movie, and then the record label arranged for it to be in the Transformers animated movie, and that's when I found out it was through the record label.
It just seems like it was made for Transformers movie. And finally, where do Touch and Dare rank for you in your all-time favorite songs that you've done?
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, it was just one of those things that kind of worked out that way. It is obviously a wonderful thing because the Transformers has turned into this major worldwide phenomenon. You know, it's like, little did we know, right? So things have a way of working out. But thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Bush. Do you think, hang on, I'm gonna pause. Do you wish that more radio stations played more of your songs?
Yeah.
I think they should.
It's hard. It's funny because you know, the record business has always been, you know, kind of messed up. You know, it's one of those things. It became more and more sort of corporate and like run by lawyers and accountants, and obviously things changed drastically after the '80s kind of went away. The '90s came in with that grunge kind of music and all that, and then the 2000s was different music. But fortunately for me, I was doing business. I had some success in Germany and England, so I was doing like records and touring over there, and Japan as well. So I was able to keep doing what I do, you know, and which is never leave the '80s.
Yeah, I just wish the radio station 80s on 8 would play some of your songs.
Yeah, it's, you know, I've gotten some airplay overseas, like I say, England and things, but it is hard. I mean, radio is, it's sort of very commercial. I mean, they, you know, their latest, you know, whatever it is, Katy Perry or you know, I guess now it's, well, you know.
I don't know.
Right.
I
You probably
listen to
don't
old stuff.
follow pop radio, but no, I just, there are a lot of big '80s bands that I, you know, loved, and I did some stuff, you know, with some of the people from Foreigner and Styx, and well, Journey, when they broke up, I did some writing with Jonathan Cain from Journey, and we were going to do a band maybe, and of course I auditioned for Foreigner back in the /90s, and they picked somebody else, but it was a very cool experience. That's one of my favorite bands. But I love that kind of stuff. It's really '70s/80s, but it's that rock kind of stuff that, you know, that hits you right here. The movies in the '80s were terrific. They were just incredible. Like you'd see whatever it was, they'd have like all these songs, and you hear the song. Like the best example, of course, is Rocky. You know, Eye of the Tiger. That's one of the greatest all-time, you know, fight songs, but you'd walk out of the movie theater singing the song. You'd remember it, because that's when the big hooks, you know, the '80s. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, though. The music was from here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey Stan, I'm about to perhaps drudge up a terrible memory, but what can you tell us about Freddie Freaker?
Freddie Freaker. Oh boy. There's a glass in the past. This buddy of mine, he was one of the managers that we worked with when I first came to LA and we had done that record for Electro Records. He asked me to do this sort of a commercial that he was doing. It was a 900 number. For those of you who don't know, that's when they charge you per minute when you call this number. And so they were making money, and they had me do this, like, he asked me to do this thing. It's just, you know, like a talk singing sort of thing, and for whatever, anyway, people still say, did you do that? Because they know it's me. That's one thing when anybody hears my voice, they go, oh, that's Stan Bush, you know. Like, that's why I couldn't get away with, you know, faking a lot of stuff. I have to be careful. But that was one of those things that comes back to haunt you, though.
Oh, it's great. People love it. There's a whole community of people that are obsessed with that.
Really?
Oh yeah. Maybe we should get it beamed onto the screen here someday.
That's funny.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Hi. So many of like the sci-fi movies at the time when Transformers the movie came out like had very like orchestral soundtracks, but Transformers the movie is like the complete opposite. It's like rock and like very heavy synths. So I'm wondering, was it you who chose to do that, or like did the studio ask you to go with that style?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get it. Could you speak up, or maybe you can repeat it? I'm sorry.
So he was asking if you chose that style of song for the movie, or if the studio kind of directed that kind of style of song for the Transformers movie.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it was just sort of, I guess they just figured it worked, you know, like, at the time, like Bon Jovi had just come out, and those kind of bands, and that's sort of similar style, you know.
Yeah.
And they wanted that rock thing. But, okay. Thanks.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
First of all, love your music. It's great. Second of all, for someone just beginning in music, what advice would you give them? Like,
don't do it.
Fair enough.
I shouldn't say that. You know, it's funny because, like, a bunch of my friends have been in music, and you know, I love it, obviously. But it's like, it's a tough business. It's like, you know, to make a living and stuff. You know,
Oh, yeah.
It's been up and down for a long time. I had a lot of success with like singing commercials. I was the voice for Toyota trucks and Coors beer and all these things back in the 80s. And
That was you?
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I love what you do for me, and you know, whatever. You know, the Coors beer was tapping ice cold Coors with a friend of yours. But it pays really well, so. But no, it's the music thing has been really good. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, it's funny because you know, it's just the creative side is the best. It's like when you write a song, you try to come up with something that's going to be memorable. First of all, like a melody that sticks in your head, and you think, oh wow, that's cool. I like this. Like, you know, there's a lot of songs like everybody can agree, like a certain song, that's a great song, you know, because they love the melody or the lyric or whatever. But if you get, you know, you work really hard and come up with something, and it's just a fun process, just like a puzzle, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm rambling.
One last thing.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for everyone here. You light our darkest hour.
Hello, I just have a question. After you made the song The Touch for the A6 movie, did you realize the impact of that would make throughout the fandom and the world?
No, I didn't. I mean, it's just one of those things. I knew that it was a really good song, and we didn't really think that the Transformers movie would develop this sort of fan base and like almost a cult following. And same thing with the Van Damme movies. You know, it was like, you know, people still see those movies on cable. It's like, wow, I love that movie. But no, I had no idea. It's just, you know, it's just, we have to just count our blessings, I guess, and things work out for a reason, I suppose. But it's cool stuff, you know. I think the best thing is when I find out, like, people who, like those songs, The Touch and Dare, maybe had some impact, a positive impact on somebody's life. I mean, when you hear stuff like that, it makes you want to cry, you know. It's like, wow, you know, so it's very humbling, you know. I'm just happy that, you know, whatever, if I contributed something, you know, to help somebody, then I think it's all worth it at the end of the day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
For the record, I just want to say that The Touch really had a big impact on my life, and I think a lot of people as well. My question is, when you look back at your amazing career, what are some of the highlights and what are some of the songs that you feel that got you to the next level, and what do you think you're best known for?
Oh, of my songs?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, The Touch and Dare, obviously, Never Surrender. It's funny because that thing about like writing these uplifting anthems, you know, like that it's like motivational, I guess you could call it, or something. The Touch kind of was the beginning of all of that, and it's sort of that and the fight stuff, you know, like the, I don't know, it's just, it kind of became a niche for me, but yeah, thank you, it's cool stuff. I mean, it's like if you can, I think people we don't realize how much power we have as people, that we have this amazing like gift that we can, we can help others and just, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but there's a higher power out there, and our God and everything, and we have to, we have to live right and do the right stuff, But thank you.
That was beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Stan, as I said to you out there a while ago, thank you again. Your music has saved my life. Played it on repeat, going to cancer treatments, and you've been a huge part of my life. Thank you. Two memories. They may be too far back for you to conjure up, but if you have memories of them, I'd love to hear your thoughts. One is your 1997 BotCon concert with Vince Nicola. For some of us, that was like a dream, to have the two of you together playing. So one, wondering how that came about, and were you as surprised as almost everyone was to come and see that crowd in a room smaller than this, even?
That was a magical weekend. Yeah, Vince Nicola is like tremendous talent, as you know, and he and I, we got asked to go and perform at the very first original BotCon in '97 in Rochester, and it was just great. I brought an acoustic and played some of my stuff. He played some of his stuff, and we did a couple things together, and it was just very sort of, casual and impromptu. It wasn't like a big rehearsed thing with a full band or whatever. It was more of an unplugged deal, but it was just great. The people were awesome, and Vince and I have been, friends. Well, we knew each other before that, but for through the years, we've done a lot of stuff together.
He's a great guy, and it's still on YouTube. I don't know if anybody ever goes and watches it, but it's fun. The other is, I wonder if you remembered shooting the music video for The Touch from the '86 movie, and what that was like, which was essentially you in a green screen with shots from the film. But
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. Shots from the film and the green screen, and I had the white denim jacket, and the guitar, and it was
opened up just right too. You got right around the chest there.
That was, that was a trip. That was my first music video, and I was pretty green at that point. Newly moved to LA and all.
Luscious
one of those things. If I knew then what I know now.
You had the perfect hair for that time.
Yeah, the long hair. Yeah.
Thank you again, Stan.
Yeah, thank you.
It's going all right. So I just like to echo something I've been hearing a lot of here, just saying that, your music has helped me through a lot of dark times. If I need to get myself really psyched up to do something, it's time to put on the Dare Touch, Dare to Be Stupid playlist. Don't, obviously. So, I have an incredibly nerdy question here. Okay, so, it's in the blood, it's in the will, it's in the mighty hands of steel. Were the hands of steel included after you started putting it in the Transformers movie, or was that a metaphor from before you found out it was going to be about giant robots?
That's a great question.
That is a great question. Yeah, great question. Yeah. Yes, I have thought back to
Your references.
Very perceptive of me. No, it was just a metaphor, because Hands of Steel was just a tough guy, and obviously not a robot, not real Hands of Steel. But that's great.
Very, very serendipitous then. I think history will show that they made the right choice putting it in the Transformers movie.
Yeah.
Because I think I might be one of 3 people in this room who remember Cobra. Thank you.
Oh, Oh,
Okay, so my question is, who is your favorite Transformers character personally?
Oh, I guess Bumblebee.
Sir, this has been Astrolink. How do you feel about the Toronto-based band, the Cybertronic Spree?
Oh, they're awesome. Yeah, earlier this year, it was in Pennsylvania. We at RetroCon, we actually got a chance to sit in together. I went up and sang a couple songs with them, and it was really fun. They're really nice people. So, but yeah, they're awesome. They're really good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi.
Another question.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite song to sing that you did not write?
Yeah, I mean, I had this cover band for about the last 10 years, and we did like acoustic unplugged Zeppelin, that kind of stuff. And we did like a couple of Henley songs, and one of my all-time favorite songs is Hard to Matter. I just think that's an amazing song, so probably that one.
Nice, yeah. Something that feels like comfortable. Like this should have been your voice in the first place. Maybe. Yeah. Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
Since we're here in Canada, who's your favorite Canadian artist, and what are some of your favorite songs by them?
Oh wow. Well, back in the day, Joni Mitchell, I loved her stuff. I had that Gordon Spark album, had like a bunch of hits on it. She's awesome. You gotta help me out here. Neil Young, who else?
Rush.
Rush. Oh, I love him. Yeah.
Tragically Hip.
And what?
Tragically Hip.
Oh, okay. Didn't ring a bell, but sorry. Oh, Brian Adams. Yeah, Brian Adams is amazing. It's funny because I got a chance to write with the guy who co-wrote the Brian Adams hits, Jim Balance, and he lives in Vancouver. And so a couple times I flew up there in around the early 90s and wrote with him, and we wrote a couple songs. And it's like, it's very cool because, he wrote it also with Aerosmith, really, really good songwriter. But I noticed something about Jim Balance and also Jonathan Cain I mentioned earlier from Journey. I worked with him a bit. Is those guys are like workaholics. They'll be in the studio 10, 12 hours. They just, you know what I mean? It's like that old saying about, genius being, 90% work and 10% inspiration. It's not even, it's even more, I think, but you get the point. But yeah, that's Brian Adams, of course. Loverboy too, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Guess who?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Hi, Stan. I'm not sure who mentioned it about experience, and I thought I'll come here. And I remember vividly as a father, probably lots of fathers here, that introduced their kids to Transformers. And I remember it was maybe 4 or 5, and having a short attention span. I figured, and I remember popping up the VHS in it, the film, and I remember it's gonna like probably the toys, but when the song hits, it's gonna hit. And I remember vividly standing, I'm not saying, right after he was singing the song. So that stuck, and I'm sure it's probably part of the addiction that comes with it afterwards with Transformers. But the introduction of the song is just when it hits in the movie and stuff like that, especially it's a great experience. I think the moons aligned, and it's really I'll just commend you for all of this, and thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Since we have time, I thought I'd ask another real quick. I'm going to ask you the exact same question I asked at your table earlier, and that is, for those of us that remember the movie Boogie Nights.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What was your reaction when you saw Mark Wahlberg, Dirk Diggler, the character, singing that song badly on purpose just to prove he had no talent? But what was your initial reaction when you saw that?
I thought it was hilarious. It was obviously a spoof on the 80s, and it's funny because I ran into Mark Wahlberg backstage in it's near where Hasbro's headquarters is, outside of Boston. I forgot the town. Anyway, but he was backstage and he had just done a panel and he was walking by and and I said, "You got the touch." And he turns around and says, "How did I do?" And I said, "It was great." Anyway, he comes over about 5 minutes later with his cell phone, and we were singing the touch like a couple of drunk guys.
So you gave him a few pointers, yeah.
That was a fun story. He's a good guy. Yeah.
No one can sing it better than you.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks.
Hey again, Stan. I was wondering if you could talk about the collaboration on Dare. Vince wrote the music, Scott Shelley wrote the lyrics.
Right.
How did you end up as the lead instead of, say, Gary Falcone, who did the demo? Did Vince say, think you would be great? Was it Scotty Brothers that thought to pair you together? How did that come about?
Okay, I was signed to Scotty Brothers, and they were already going to use the touch for the movie. And I guess the song Dare, they said, well, let's get Stan to sing that as well. So I didn't write Dare, but I sang it. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Hi, Stan. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming all the way here to visit us. We're coming on 40 years since this movie came out, and even after all these years, there are still people that remember and share how much of an impact that your songs had on them, which is amazing. I'm part of the younger generation that didn't really live through watching the movie. I discovered the first generation later on in life, but even then, it's still amazing that there are still the older fans that get to learn how much that you had an impact on them. My question is that, despite how many years it's been, how do you feel knowing that even though it's been so long since then, that people still remember your work and people still share stories with you? How do you feel?
It's very gratifying. It's pretty awesome. It means a lot. It really touches me, because it's, I think anybody who does something, especially if it helps, touch somebody, then it's really awesome. Thank you. It's like, wow. It's hard to say, it's like, it's not about money or anything. It's just, it's like when you have that connection with other people and try to do something positive in the world. But thank you.
Thank you, Stan. And hopefully we'll still come back concert for you someday.
Thank you.
Yeah, not really a question, but I just kind of want to echo what that other guy said earlier and kind of what your answer there. Like, not only have you impacted us, but, our children. I've got a 6-year-old and she calls the Touch the Matrix song and she walks around the house singing it. Like, you're like a generational thing that gets handed down in our families. It's really neat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I was wondering, so we know a lot about yourself, and obviously the Transformers movie soundtrack, just an absolute epic. Have you ever had any kind of meeting or kind of interaction with any of the other bands on the album, like Lion or Spectre Generals?
Let's see. I met the guys in Lion a little bit. I didn't get to know them or anything, but it was a mutual musician friend, But Weird Al Yankovic, he and I got to be almost buddies. I mean, I ran into him at it was a record company event in Spago's in West Hollywood, and he was there. It was really nice, and we talked for a bit. I've seen him at other things. There was an event at Paramount Studios that our band performed, and he was there, and so it's pretty cool. He's a nice guy. So yeah, Weird Al and of course Vince Nicola. And I remember going to the screening of the Transformers movie too. That was kind of exciting. It was in Westlake Village. What was it called? That town? It's on by Santa Monica. Westwood. Yeah. My brain is going. No. I just had a lot on my plate this weekend. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Okay, you?
Good.
I was introduced to you by She's Got the Power. How did that come about?
Oh yeah, the Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Again, that was one of those things I just got hired for. My friend Sherwood Ball, he sang the TV series, all the rock stuff, and I don't remember why, but for whatever reason, he didn't want to sing the soundtrack. So on that song, so he hired me to sing it.
Oh.
So that was one of those sessions. Okay, sing this. It's funny. That's the way I did so many demos and things in the '80s. It's like hard to remember. Years later, somebody will come up. Did you sing so and so? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, but that's how that happened.
Okay, thank you.
But it's funny because Sailor Moon fans will like, oh yeah, I really liked your work on that.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Stan, a lot of us are here because we all share a hobby,
Yeah.
and we collect Transformers. So do you have a hobby or a collection that you kind of value and spend time on in your downtime?
Well, let's see. I'm not really much of a collector. I just have, like 4 guitars or something. A couple of really nice acoustics because I write on those mostly. But as far as activities and whatnot, I love to go camping and, I've been running, distance running in the mornings every day, and that's really helps me, keeps me going, and so the fitness thing, working out, and but yeah, it's pretty cool. I have to say, going back to another subject real quick, I didn't really mention this, but in 1996 I had got nominated for an Emmy Award for the Song of the Year, and so I won an Emmy for the soap opera called The Guy in White. Anyway, we got nominated and we won the Emmy Song of the Year, so that was cool. And that same year, I had a song in the Olympics for Capture the Dream. When the U.S. swim team won like 7 gold medals or something, they had a montage of footage that had, my song Capture the Dream. So that was another moment. So just one of those things, you do enough years in LA and all that, and in the business, and there's like things that you have like little successes and that kind of stuff. Anyway, so hey, what's up?
Hey, I know we touched on this briefly earlier, but when you wrote The Touch, which I love that song again, but when you wrote that, can you take us through your thought process of what inspired you to come up with the lyrics and things like that? How did that come about from a creative standpoint?
Well, I say Lenny Macaluso, who co-wrote The Touch, he and I, we still write songs to this day. I don't know how many songs we have together, but we'll just sit down with a guitar and come up with a melody or a hook or a chorus, and just have like little parts, and we just like literally bang it out. It's like, oh, what about this? And what about this? And you kind of feed off each other. It's a cool process. Writing songs it's not easy, and I feel like I'm getting better at it, even though I'm getting a little older. You finally learn how to do stuff, and you know what I mean. But one of the things that I guess is a big half the battle is not giving up, and also knowing when you have something that works or that's good. But I guess that's one of the things too. It's sort of a taste thing. If like I like this, I don't like that kind of stuff. But generally, I think people as a whole, okay, that's a good song. Like that song "Harder Than That." Everybody loves that song, and you know what I'm saying? It's like there's like a universal sort of I don't know. That's like "Living on a Prayer." What a great song! Like one of the greatest all-time rock songs. And "Africa" is another one. Just a killer song. So I'm sorry, but rambling again.
No, not at all. And I'm also wondering, you wrote The Touch, obviously that Stallone movie. When you pitched it to Transformers, was it the exact same version, or did you make some changes? And how did that come about?
Yeah, I said before that, okay, the record label arranged it all. They had Then Scotty Brothers was famous because they, for their biggest success obviously was Eye of the Tiger, you know, the Survivor. And they got that whole thing going, and so that sort of put them on the map. Anyway, that was, the Transformers was one of the movies that they had gotten my songs and whatever. But yeah, that's mainly through the record label. That's how they kind of did all that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. I wanted to ask, in regards to writing songs, which genre of film would you want to make a song for? Like if you could write a song for any genre of film.
Oh, I love the action stuff, you know. Like, one of the greatest recent films was the Top Gun 2, you know,
Maverick, yeah.
Maverick, wow, what a movie, you know. And it's funny because it came to the end, and it was a really nice song, a ballad, right? Sung by a lady. But I was like expecting a big, you know, rock, you know what I mean?
Big bombastic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It wasn't a letdown, but it was just, you know, it just wasn't what I was expecting. But yeah, I just love action movies and stuff like Mission Impossible and all those kinds of movies. It's funny because back in the 80s and 90s, there were so many good movies. Like every week or so or two, there'd be like new releases at the movies, and you know, you'd go see it and be like, awesome. You know, Back to the Future and just on and on, right? And it's just, some of the movies now are like darker, and of course you have a whole different dynamic, and you don't have the, since COVID, you don't have the movie theater attendance, and so forth, so people are doing lower budget things for like Netflix and all that, you know, but it's just a different, the business evolves, I guess.
It's completely changed in the last 30, 40 years.
Right, yeah. Like this movie, The Last Kumite, you saw the music video from that. Really good movie, you know, but it's not a big budget film, you know, like the ones I was talking about. Like it seems like every week or two there'd be a new one, you know, a blockbuster, you know. Like,
And then they get their VHS release.
yeah, like the Stallone movie and Schwarzenegger, all this kind of stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's an interesting thought or question.
Okay.
Well, how would you feel about doing cover songs of other Transformers songs, like like an English version of some of the Japanese Transformer openings? Would you be down for doing that at some point?
Singing in English? Or?
Yeah, they translate like the lyrics and do like an English version of it, because there's some really great Japanese scenes, and I could just see you just crushing it, like Transformers Evo by Jam Project, Iron Courage by Hideaki Takatori, any of the stuff Psychic Lover did, all that stuff. Like Hironobu Kageyama, who I think you're basically like his Western counterpart. Like you guys have that same energy of just that classic 80s rock that's just so iconic. Point is, I just think it would be really cool if maybe at some point you'd give that a shot. I'd love to see that.
No, I'd be open to it. I'd love to hear that stuff, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Stan.
How's it going?
Good, good. Thanks for coming. It's really awesome to have you here.
I'm blessed to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. I wanted to ask that in the late 90s, you had some songs come out that it sounded like you made these songs exclusively for the Transformers community. There was one song called Ground Zero, one called, but then you changed the lyrics to, it's like, at first the chorus was Ground Zero, and then you changed it to Transformers. It was like, so there's a shift that I heard both versions, I was like, what? It's like, you changed that. So,
yeah, I had to sue myself.
So what's the story behind all that? That's really interesting.
You know what? When the Transformers came, the big, I told you before that Tell All I Want song. I really loved Ground Zero, the music part of it, and we already had the song, so we just rewrote the lyrics and put it out as Tell All I Want. But yeah, it is based on that song. So cool you picked up on that.
So Ground Zero was not originally meant to be a Transformers song. It was rewritten.
Right. Ground Zero was just, I think, an action thing, but yeah, it is the same musically, the same song.
Are you going to make more music like that for the Transformers community?
I hope so.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, no, it's been really great. Like I said, I've been a part of the brand for a long time. I've done a lot of stuff with Hasbro. They use songs of mine in the video games and some of the toys even, you know, and it's funny because they use the touch and they had like a team of lawyers to determine if they could have a song with the word hell in it, you know, when all hell's breaking loose, you know. It was like, but they ultimately approved it, but it was funny because, yeah.
Wow.
Because they don't have those very sort of, you know, clean.
Right, lots of red tape.
Yeah. You have to be careful with your kids and all that stuff.
Cool.
But
Awesome.
they've been great to work with.
Good. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we have time for one more question.
Hey.
Hi Stan, nice to see you. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I just want to say I spoke to Vince DiCola last year. He came to the convention, and personally, I don't know other people, but I consider the soundtrack as one piece of music.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't offend you in any way, but I think I've listened to it so many times. When I was in high school, I had it on a cassette, and I used to listen to it on the bus going to school and all that. So on the one side, as somebody who's made a track, you're proud of making the song, and then you've been part like into the movie. But from an album perspective, and on the other artists, like I know for me, like I just said, I consider it all one piece of music. Do you take any extra sense of pride as you listen to the other songs? Do you think of being part of a compilation album like that? Does that?
No, it's I get what you're saying. You know, it's to me the scoring is like that's a whole art unto itself.
Mm-hmm.
To make all the background music through the whole movie and have all the stuff, you know, the swells and all the different parts and you know, all I do is write a couple of songs and stick them in, you know.
Yeah.
It is a different thing, you know. I'm a song guy, you know, obviously, but I really respect what Vince did on that stuff. He's awesome.
So is there an extra sense of togetherness with the other artists and what you've produced as an album as a whole?
Oh yeah, like I say, I mean the Lion song was great. The theme. I actually sang that a version of it. But they wound up going with the theme itself. You know, the Transformers, robots in disguise. You know that thing. It was higher than that, but anyway, they I don't remember what they did. There was also something else that I sang of Vince's that didn't make it onto the soundtrack. I'm trying to remember what it was now. But anyway, yeah, I understand what you mean, and it is a whole overall picture, like mosaic or whatever you call it.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stan, everyone here from the staff to a guest, we want to thank you for such a great panel. And just a pleasure being able to share the stories and hear your experiences on this.
Oh, thank you so much. You guys have been awesome. Thank you. I
All right.
appreciate you having me.
Good job, Stan. it.